Do you ever find yourself spending money needlessly, just uncontrollably, and gosh, you don't know how to stop it? Well, as it turns out, you might actually not have a money issue, but you might have a deeper psychological issue that's leading you to spend money. Hi, my name is Sheng. I run the company Save My Cents, where I teach people how to save and invest their money to become retired, like me. Today, I'm going to teach you about a 5-letter acronym that's going to help you recognize why you're spending emotionally, and then I'm going to teach you some super easy methods to help you get out of the emotional spending cycle. This spending cycle is actually part of a larger concept that I teach called trigger, action, reward, which I'm not going to cover in this video because it takes some time to break down, but I'm so excited to give you just a little bit of a glimpse into it because I think it's going to really change the way that you see your relationship to money. Are you ready for the acronym? It's HALTS. H-A-L-T-S. What do they stand for? H stands for hunger. Yep, hunger. A stands for anger or anxiety. L stands for loneliness. T stands for tired. And S stands for sad or stressed. Okay, so I kind of cheated a little bit. It's not 5 elements of spending triggers, it's actually 7, but I figured the 5-letter acronym is a really easy way to remember it. Now, why am I telling you all of this? Because you probably have heard a lot of personal finance advice out there that says, it's so easy to save money. All you got to do is spend less. And sometimes you're like, I don't know how to spend less, or I find it so hard to spend less money, or I just can't help it but spend. And if you're one of those people, you may be one of those people where you have not fully made the connection between your psychological behavior, your psychological mindset, your emotions, and how they translate into money. It's all interconnected. And that's why I focus so much on mental health and financial wealth, because if you take care of one, you take care of the other. And the 5 elements that I mentioned in the acronym HALTS are all very common emotions that all of us are going to have over our lifetime that lead to real actions and behaviors when it comes to spending money. Let's talk about hunger. It's actually probably the fastest I'm going to go through because it's so basic. When we're hungry, our brain engages in survival mode. And when you want to eat, you're like, oh, your brain just shortcuts everything. And this is why it's so easy for me to eat a snack when I'm hungry, because I'm like, I just need food now. So I go to my snack cabinet and I grab a snack when in reality, I should probably get, one of my more healthier prepped meals as a better alternative. Same thing for everybody else. If you're hungry, it's very likely that you're not going to plan ahead because you gotta satiate a hunger, that survival mode right now. And that's when I see a lot of people go and order takeout, they DoorDash things, they do Instacart, or they run out to the nearest fast food restaurant because they're like, I just need food now and I don't have any good options in the fridge. Best thing to do to address this specific hunger trigger is to make sure that you have prepped easy to cook, easy to heat up food in your house. You don't need to be a gourmet chef, by the way, to do this. You could totally have, for example, those salad kits from like Trader Joe's and Costco. I love them. They have the vegetables, they have the toppings like the croutons and the dressing. You can put it all together in a few minutes. Another snack that I personally really like are the rice cakes with like peanut butter on top. Super filling and so easy to make. Adult Lunchables. Another one that I love. Just make sure that you have, crackers and some sliced meat, some cheese. Put it all together. Let's get it going. Because we want to make the response to hunger super easy in order to take advantage of the fact that our brains want to shortcut it and they want food now. And so the goal is to have food on hand that is nourishing, that also doesn't take too much time to prep. You don't have to eat gourmet food every day. I don't. Anger and anxiety. Kind of 2 slightly different topics. So let's talk about anger first. There's a real reason that some people need to have anger management courses because it's a very explosive emotion that engages the fight or flight kind of response in our brains, and it's very hard to back down from it once the chemicals kind of start happening in your body. It's just like your body is filled with so many chemicals that it takes time for the chemicals from the anger to go away. So if you find yourself frequently spending or doing stuff with your money out of anger, you really got to get to the root of your anger issues and figure out just what the heck is going on right there. Because I can tell you, friend, living a life full of anger hurts yourself the most. The other A, anxiety. Anxiety can be really crippling because anxiety is oftentimes part of a deterioration of mental health. And what happens when you feel anxiety is that your brain is not functioning at its best. And anxiety can be crippling to the point where anxiety makes it hard for you to think long-term and make wise, calculated, strategic decisions. And when it comes to money, when it comes to personal finance, it kind of requires that you think long-term. So when you feel anxiety, you're more likely to make short-term decisions with your money. You might, instead of planning ahead, you're like, oh, I gotta get this thing done now. I see a lot of people with anxiety spending on things that have convenience attached to it, such as paying fees to get something shipped faster, paying other professionals to take care of a lot of things for them because they're just in a mindset where they cannot think clearly. So that's all possible. And you know what? Anxiety is a mental health issue that I hope you go and get treated. Most people can get treatment for anxiety through talk therapy, through medicine, and I want to normalize that. I want you to feel that there's nothing wrong with you when you feel anxiety. So I hope that this can be a great encouragement to you to go seek treatment and do the best you can there. Because once your anxiety is addressed, your spending related to anxiety is also a lot more likely to go down. Loneliness. All right, friends. I spent a lot when it came to loneliness. I've only dated 2 people in my entire life, my first boyfriend and then my now husband. But gosh, I remember the time in between my 2 relationships when I desperately wanted to get married. I wanted to find a new boyfriend. I wanted to be in a loving relationship. It was hard. And I did so much to try to make myself feel better. I was constantly looking for things to do with my friends. I wanted to go out and eat. I wanted to go to concerts. Hello, I love emo music and I spent a lot of money on concerts during that time too. I get it. Loneliness is hard. And sometimes loneliness also has that byproduct of you feeling like I'm not good enough for other people to be friends with me, or I'm not good enough for a relationship. And if that is something that you're feeling that's deep-rooted, likely from your childhood even, of how you were shown what relationships should look like and whether they're healthy or not, and et cetera, et cetera. I think a lot, for me, romantic relationships, I really celebrated romance. I obviously got a lot of my understanding of relationships from romantic comedies. They were very popular type of movies in the 90s. And I did not realize, for example, as an adult, that relationships take a lot of work. And that was something that I had to learn. For you, if you find yourself spending a lot because of loneliness, address the loneliness by reaching out to people and hang out with them. I cannot guarantee that you're going to get a long-term relationship. I'm not even sure if that's what you want. But we are human, and humans relate to other people by being together. Even the most introverted of introverts do need to have a human sitting in their room sometimes to be with them. So to the best of your abilities, reach out to a friend, call them. Don't just text, call. See somebody face to face, and it doesn't have to be expensive. It could be just a coffee chat. But try to build regular seasons, regular scheduled time of companionship into your life. I promise it will improve your mental health so much. Did I say the hunger was the easiest one? No, I think being tired is actually easier. Okay, when you're tired, you just want things done and you want them done yesterday. So people who are also really tired, and oftentimes this is people who are parents and have a lot to do on their hands, or people who are in executive careers and they're working a lot and they just don't have time to focus on their finances. And these people tend to either not think at all about their spending or they outsource it to somebody else. I don't knock you outsourcing or getting help. In fact, if you are tired, you should try to get help. You shouldn't have to feel like you can do all of this alone. So when it comes to career, if you are a leader at your company, for example, you do want to move a lot of the things that somebody else could do off of your plate. Delegate it to other people on your team. If you're a mother, feel free to hire a little bit of help every now and then. Mother's helpers or an occasional babysitter or getting your house clean. These things all really help improve someone's mindset. But most of all, rest. So I actually, ever since 2012, which is 11 years ago, I started observing the Sabbath, where I don't do any work from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. This is very common amongst those who are observing Jews, and also I'm a Torah-keeping Christian, so that's also something that I observe. And at first it feels so counterintuitive because you're like, wow, I could work 7 days a week, but I'm working 6 days a week. Gosh, I'm not doing anything on this rest day. But the rest is actually what you need to be much more productive during the other days of the week. I highly recommend it. Get rest, take a nap, walk outside, get some fresh air, do whatever you gotta do to give your brain a break, because our brains cannot keep running forever and ever. Finally, S for sad or stressed. Let's talk about sadness. I would say the root cause of sadness, the most common ones that I find are death of a loved one or separation in a relationship. So this could be a breakup, or it could be a marital separation. And sadness is hard. In fact, sadness can come in waves over you when you least expect it. And similar to the L in loneliness, sadness can also cause you to reflect all the way back to your childhood and think, gosh, what is wrong with me? I'm just feeling so sad, or I just don't know what to do. It's a negative feeling, and people do spend money out of sadness because there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of pain inside. And you know what? I cannot take away that pain, but I do want to encourage most of you who are feeling pain to try to, I know it's hard, but be brave and courageous, and let yourself dig to the root of that pain and talk it out. Get therapy, write in your journal, talk to your best friend, talk to your partner, whoever you feel comfortable kind of relating this to, and talk it out. And, it doesn't hurt to learn more about how do you address this pain that's in your life. Because sometimes we will live with pain forever. I'm an IVF warrior. I live with the pain from my infertility days forever. I lost a lot of embryos. But you know what? That is life. And there are healthy ways to live with sadness that do not require you having to spend a lot of money on a lot of things. Stress spending is also probably something that I see a lot in parts of my life, in people with executive type jobs, people who are super busy. Yeah, stress, spending, you're stressed out, you don't want to think about things, your brain is shortcutting, you just want to, again, get this done, get this over with, I don't want to think. And again, I see people who are stressed out, order takeout, spend money on convenience services, have a lot of things in their lives outsourced. And so I see this particularly in my coaching clients who are very well off, actually. I'm now coaching people who make, $500,000 to $1 million a year. They, on their surface, look like they have fabulous lives, fueled by all this money, but they are stressed out by their jobs. And due to that stress, they have to fund a lot of things to keep up that lifestyle. They send their children to private school, or they have full-time nannies, or more than one nanny. They might be paying a lot for takeout food, for example. People are paying for, lawn people and cleaners and putting their kids in camps, stylists, a lot of beauty treatments, just things to take their mind off of the stress of work. Sport, season passes is another one that I see a lot in these high pressure, high income type households. And there's nothing wrong with spending money that you can afford to spend. But there are some of these people who come to me and they're like, Sean, but I want to retire early. And I'm like, You can retire early, but you got to pull back some of your spending so that your net worth can last you forever. If you find yourself in this scenario, recognize that it's a catch-22. You want to be less stressed out? Sometimes you do need to step away from that high-income, high-pressure job. Not all jobs are high pressure, by the way. There's plenty of jobs that can pay you well for your skills, especially if you're talented, and you don't have to be working yourself to death. In fact, I do one of them right now. I work for myself and I feel a lot less pressure to have to work so hard. And so stress is very commonly derived from the situations and the environments that you're in. You have to evaluate your surroundings and ask yourself, is this worth it? Is it worth all the stress? So that wraps up my overview of the 5 elements of spending triggers, the HALTS method. Hopefully this has been informative to you. If you like what you see here, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, save my cents, and thank you so much for watching.